Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 128th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and Audio Technica. I'm your not so humble host, Brendan White. You can find me everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, my two usual partners in crime, Miss Ali Hart, who can be found at Miss Ali Hart, and Salim Abraham, who can be found at Salim TD. Good morning on this sunny Sunday, November 11th, Remembrance Day here in the AU. How you doing, you sexy legends?
Doing good. I'm absolutely exhausted from some gaming news, though.
Yes. We are hot off the press of XO2018, the Microsoft Xbox sort of presser that they did today or this morning in the wee hours. Kicked off at 7 a.m. my time, 8 a.m. your time, I do believe.
Thank you very much, freaking Microsoft.
Yeah. Have some respect for the Aussie audience, please.
You're already up for at least 4 hours, though, Ali, surely, by 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
I like to ease into my Sunday mornings, so granted I'm awake at 5. I still want to just kind of like chill out for a bit.
Yeah. Dream, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm just still living the wild western dream. It is Red Dead. It's, oh my God, words, emotions, game.
Yeah, it really is something special. It truly is. I am so in on that game, and it's almost reflected. I guess if we're going to sort of segue into sort of what we've been playing this week, I'll sort of say I found some time to jump into the Fallout 76 beta this week. On that front, first and foremost, I understand why they did it in sort of couple of hour blocks on every other day to sort of work out server load and minimize potential risk, but it made it very inconvenient for a lot of people to try and get in and play this damn beta when you only had 2 hour blocks here or there to jump in and try and tackle this game. But I don't know, I'm still keen. Like I love my Fallout, I love the potential for this game, but it just sort of felt a little meh.
Oh no!
A little
in
hollow,
a nutshell,
maybe.
Yeah. Like some of my little gripes. Like we could sit here and talk for hours, depending on how far we wanted to go on this. But like one of the biggest things I noticed is regarding the story arc you play in the beta. There isn't really any NPCs that you're engaging with, which is sort of a trademark of Fallout. You're sort of either talking to robots or finding holotapes to piece the next crumb of your trail for the storyline to go ahead. So it was very, as you said, Dreams, it was hollow, almost Fallout Light to a degree, which kind of sucks. Other things like there's no central social hub. Like obviously one of the things that they're emphasizing in 76 is the ability for multiplayer and also to sort of attack or team up with people in your respective server loadout. But yeah, there's no hub for interaction. I saw a lot of people roaming around, and it almost felt like a few times like you'd sit and watch and see what they're doing. You could shoot at them or stab them or whatever, but unless they acknowledge that, yep, I want to go PvP right now, you can't kill them. Like you can't just run in and stealth kill people and take their gear and run off like a like psychopath. GTA. Yeah, it's very much cotton wool buds. Like everyone's wrapped in cotton wool at the moment, where it's like, hey, there's a dude, I'm gonna give this guy some trouble. It's almost like you're just poking him in the tummy with your gun. It's like, hey, you want to play? You want to have a shootout? You want to have a shootout? And half the time, they'll sort of just look at you and walk off. And it's like, oh,
is it like
this kind of sucks.
Borderlands, where if you want to initiate like killing your team member, or like if you shoot your team member and they shoot back, that's an agreement of a duel? Is that what it is?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to have the handshake between you and whatever party that you're trying to engage in PvP. But yeah, it's it's like the world's nice. Like West Virginia, it's pretty location. Graphically, it's probably the best it's been in the franchise's history. There was a few little bugs like with textures not loading and things, or draw distance, but that's a beta, so you can't really sort of grind the axe too heavily on that. But I don't know, man. It's just, I'm hoping this was just sort of a stripped back teaser for when the game drops in like 3 days time. But because it's 3 days away, I'm guessing we're probably playing a pretty close to finished sort of first draft of this game. So I'm just like, oh no, I paid $300 for the Power Helmet Collector's Edition, whatever the fuck.
Nice one, man. Ali, does this appeal to you at all?
No, I've never played a Fallout game.
Wow.
So, I like, the trailer really got to me because I like the idea of building like my own little shanty town and inviting my friends over. Because female. But yeah, like, I heard about the beta. I signed up for it. Didn't really care that I didn't try it. I loved seeing the mechanic where apparently people were walking faster than other people. That was actually fun to watch. A lot of the videos that came out of that. I would be concerned too. Of all the things that we're hearing about this beta and the game coming up so close, and it's interesting.
Yeah. When we first saw the game announced, my immediate feeling was it didn't work for Elder Scrolls. It's not going to work for Fallout. It's just a different game. It's a game that relies so heavily. It's a series that relies so heavily on the stories. And the stories are kind of what make Fallout great. The world's pretty cool too. It's never really been my favorite thing. But rolling around in like a nuclear wasteland in a power suit, that's kind of fun. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Brendan, by what I'm hearing. And I don't think it's really going to improve from here immediately. But you never know. It's a MMO now, and hopefully that they'll maybe patch in some things to improve the experience. I think maybe part of it as well is that in MMOs there's a social aspect to this that takes some time to form, so you never know what's going to come out of it. We'll see, but yeah, I'm not definitely picking this up.
Definitely could follow the latest trend in gaming, where it's just like the release is shoddy, and then they realize what needs fixing, and then it gets better down the line.
It's not on Game Pass, is it?
No.
Maybe it'll join Elder Scrolls Online on Game Pass soon.
Yeah, like there's still some good potential there. Like as far as the team aspect of it, you can sort of share perks with your teammates. So depending on if you're a higher level, you can sort of give them some of the abilities you've got or the buffs you've got. Fast travel seemed to be pretty good. Instead of spending caps to sort of teleport to landmarks and stuff. So there's a few things in there which I liked, and sort of a la a Destiny, there's sort of public events that are popping up constantly around the map where you can go attack certain monsters or escort certain NPCs through the world. So there is a lot of things to sort of occupy your time in the game, but yeah, it's definitely Fallout Light. And I guess that is a trade-off when it pivots to an online aspect where they need to sort of have it a little bit more contained as far as variables, especially with NPCs.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard. Like, Star Wars, The Old Republic did a fantastic job, I think, of fitting a really well scripted story into their game, which is, it's still an MMO, it's instant, so you get to have the experience for yourself, but at the same time you still get to have this really complex PvP element that you can enjoy, this PvP world that you can enjoy. Final Fantasy XIV did it really well as well. World of Warcraft does it really well. I don't understand why Fallout can't also have a fantastic story built in there to help, I guess, guide players through it. That sounds like what's missing at the moment.
I'm really curious to see what those initial waves of review scores are going to be this week. Like, they'll probably start dropping tomorrow, 2 days out or so before the full release. So let's see where it lands. Maybe it's going to be 7 to 8, sort of is probably optimistic, I think, somewhere in there. Which is a shame for a franchise as notable as Fallout. So
Red Dead?
I guess, yeah. Or we could let Miss Hart talk about the other game that neither of us played, and then we could jump on some Red Deads.
Sure.
Yeah, I did the suckers thing, and I actually bought Diablo 3 for the third time. So I now own it on Xbox, PC, and the Switch. I'm a sucker for Blizzard. What can I say? It's great. Seems like it was made perfectly for the Switch. A lot of people have been asking me, like, how is it? Apparently handles smoothly. Yes, it is smooth as butter. It is so good. In regards to people saying whether they should get it or not, I got it in the sense because I figure it is a game with a lot of longevity, and I only ever played the wizard, so I can have multiple opportunities of playing the other character subclasses. There's a little elements that they have added in. There's a lot of like kind of flair components where I already had handed the wings that you usually kind of had to unlock in earlier. Hang on, how many of you have played Diablo?
I've played it.
Okay, I know
I
Brendan
have
hasn't.
not still.
Yeah, no, I know Brendan hasn't. I was trying to find a common ground with him was not going to work. So this is your opportunity, actually, Brendan, if you want to get in on it.
So can we play online multiplayer together via Nintendo?
It says on the back, it says up to 4 players offline or online. So I have yet to test it. I remember seeing someone tweet something about running into an issue about the online co-op component. I can't remember what exactly it was, whether it was a case of that they had to replay certain dungeons, like not everything was unlocked for their component, their partner. So, but yeah, the game runs smoothly. Handling, it took me a quick minute to get the controls and figure that out, but it feels like it was made perfectly for the Switch, and I definitely think if someone just wants another game that they can just churn out in long travels, long distances, just whip out the Switch and play some Diablo. It's really, really good.
So the controller layout on the Switch is once you sort of, I guess, readjust from maybe keyboard and mouse or Xbox, it makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a while since I played the Xbox version, so it actually might be a bit more common with the Xbox version in regards to using bumpers in your X and your A. It took a bit of fidgeting, but I figured it out pretty quickly. The menus and interfaces are really easy to navigate as well on the Switch. Yeah. And I played it handheld because, like I mentioned a bunch of times, I really don't play my Switch docked. So, I think if people have been wondering if they should get it or not, if you're a fan of the series and you've been wanting to get back and maybe there was some other classes that you wanted to try, yeah, get it. Why not?
I want to get it, but I'm just looking on it's $80.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've been kind of iffy about is game prices, but I'm this is definitely one that I can see me playing for a while, and there's online components as well. So
how much does it cost on the other, on PC, for example, if you just buy it through the Blizzard store? Do you know?
If we're looking at the Eternal Edition is the latest one, which obviously comes with all the content, that's $80 on all platforms.
Right. Okay.
But if we're looking at, say,
the original
Diablo 3, it's coming in at about $50. $50.
Yeah. There's also you also get exclusive Gandalf armor set. I've yet to see it, but it was advertised on the case. So
I thought you said Gandalf for a minute, and I'm like,
yeah,
Ganondorf. Sorry, I did say Gandalf. The coffee still doesn't work yet. I don't know what I said.
I think you said Gandalf. I was like, what? That's baller.
So you get all the expansions.
Which fantasy series is he from?
Lord of the Rings.
Bloody Ganon.
Oh, how did I come up with that? I hate that series.
Come on now.
All right.
What?
Lord of the Rings. You can't be trashing such a classic.
Not on this here podcast.
Classic films too.
I will.
All right, so let's pivot onto something we've all been playing some more this week. Or maybe not, Ali, because it's not listed in yours. Have you been playing more Red Dead as well?
Barely.
Right in the feels. How you doing on your stream? Where are you in the Vandalin gang journey now?
I'm on chapter 4 now, so it's been a bit of a slow roll for me. And I haven't had too much time to play it this week, but I've absolutely loved the moments that I have been able to steal away and turn the PlayStation on and play this game. I'm actually finding, so we talked a lot about this last week, and I feel like a lot of the gripes I have with the game, I either now I'm just totally fine with, or don't mind at all, and then like the things I liked about the game, I now love about the game. Like the experience is just constantly improving the more I play it. Should we talk, maybe not spoilers, so I won't spoil too much, particularly about where I'm up to in the story. But I'm having so much fun. I've been in so many shootouts. I have no idea how many thousands of people I've killed now. Hundreds, maybe. I don't know. But there's like
it'd be a lot. The body count would be high in this game.
There just seem to be like, the towns are big enough for like 30, 40 people, but there are hundreds that roll out of the woodworks just to shoot at you. I really did enjoy the story in Chapter 3, which, without giving away too much, puts you in a sort of house versus house scenario. It's kind of like the Capulet to the Montagues, particularly with like a budding romance in between there.
The Greys versus the Braithwaites.
The Greys and the Braithwaites, that's right. I thought that chapter was fantastic, and you get to do a lot of cool shit there. But it's the side missions that I find are equally as fleshed out as the main story stuff. So all of the debt collection stuff that you get to do, the homestead robberies that you get to do, there's side missions where you see yourself robbing stagecoaches, and they all have character moments and nuance enough, so it's not just literally follow this car, rob this car. It's the person who's in that stagecoach, that person who's in there has a story, and you get to see this person. Like the one I just did, she's like an entertainer, a singer coming back from New York with like bad critic reviews. And this is a nothing character. This is nobody that you'll ever see ever again, probably. But she has this really great moment with Trelawney, who's asking her, please sing for me, please. It's a fun game. I just can't believe how big it is, just how much detail there is, particularly if you compare it to something like, and it's chalk and cheese, but like in Spider-Man, all of the sort of crimes that you would stop, after a certain point, they all felt like the same thing. And all of the mini games that you would do after a certain point kind of feel like the same thing. In this, everything's different. No two activities, even if it's the same thing, even if it's debt collection, they're never the same. I had to go kill a cougar on a debt collection mission. How does that work? Have you not done that?
I haven't killed the cougar. I've beaten a fair few people to get the money, or obviously you ransack their house if they got no cash and things like that. Yeah. But I guess on the debt collection, like that one thing that sort of irked me a little bit on one of those was where it's sort of the second sort of run around with sort of, I think he's almost like an Amish or a religious type, and he was building a sort of a community house in Valentine. He ends up passing away, and you go back to recoup the final debt from his wife and his child. Yeah,
Archibald.
And like, and Arthur, like, you have moments of humility and niceness with him throughout the game, but then he gets unnecessarily angry or dickish sometimes. And it's like with them, like, you should have had an option to sort of interact and maybe turn a blind eye on some of these, but instead he's just like, you got to pay this debt, I don't care. And then the young boy stands up for his mum. He's like, you do that again, and I'm going to, put you in the ground and all that. And I'm like, come on, this isn't sort of the arc we've been on recently, Arthur. What's going on?
I think that'll weave back in somehow. I as soon as I left that house, I thought that Archibald kid, he's coming for me with a gun. That's what's going to happen.
100%. Yeah. Rattlesnake
among
in the
other
tent
people.
when you're sleeping.
Yeah. But you make so many enemies, and that's kind of part of the story, is that every town you leave, you just seem to have more and more people who don't like you and want to see you die. And
a lot of it's through, like, not through his own, like, Arthur's own direct fault. Like, guys like Micah and stuff like that, who are just loose cannons that are just shooting up towns left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So you just get thrown into the shit constantly trying to help people.
How far into it are you, mate?
Sorry, I was just sipping a mouthful of coffee at the same time. I'm in chapter 4 as well.
Yep.
I'm about, I reckon, in excess of 40 hours now.
Whoa.
That I've played. But I've just been doing, like, similar to what you said, Dream. I've just been roam in the wilderness and like just sort of exploring the map. Like I haven't uncovered all the map yet, but I rode into the name of the town escapes me, but it's pretty much like the New Orleans equivalent.
Saint Denis.
Saint Denis, yeah. I rolled into there the other day and I was just sort of cruising through there and talking to people for a few hours, like just sort of exploring the town and seeing what's there and
Chewing the fat.
yeah, chewing the fat and whatnot. So I just seem to get lost with just random time sinks, like playing poker. Like the other day again, I played poker for I reckon about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Trying to tank this guy, and it just kept going back and forth. But it's great. It's great. I'm devastated. I grabbed like my prized horse from the Braithwaite farm. Like during that sort of Romeo and Juliet storyline, and you meet the female Braithwaite, and she's got like this sort of Palomino looking stud of a horse beside this little sort of gazebo, and I locked onto it immediately. I'm like, that's my horse, because I got to like Palominos are like my jam for horses in life, all right, for some weird reason. And I grabbed this horse and I stole it, and like I was literally sitting beside, like Rachel was watching me play it this time. And I got this horse. I'm like, babe, this is going to be the horse that's going to see me through to the end of the game. And literally, I rode past a couple of randos, went to hit left trigger to greet them, but I didn't hit left trigger in time, like in order apparently. And I hit X and jumped. And I jumped and hit a fence, and the horse died straight away. And I was just like, I had this horse for literally 90 seconds. And I was just like, no!
Wow.
And it was so devastating.
I'm on... like my bond with my current horse is like level 4, so I can drift now on my horse, and it's taken
it's like R1 and X or whatever, and you're just hanging them out.
No, like the R1 and X is like a quick stop, but if you hold square when you unlock it, your horse kind of like canters to the side, and if you imagine it like it's like a car drifting, like you can just do a real slick sort of slide turn. But it took ages to get to this level, and every time my horse stacks it, I put my hands to my face and I just look back at the horse, and it always takes like a moment too long to get up, and I always think I've killed it, or I've got to kill it, like I've just broken its leg or something.
I've got to kill it.
Well, yeah, no, because I had to do this to one of my other horses. I injured it so bad that it couldn't, like it was just still alive, but it was lame. So you have to do the humane thing and kill the horse. Ali, speaking of adventuring though, before we recorded today, you were telling me that you're effectively the quintessential explorer of the Wild West. You haven't touched the story at all.
Nah, I haven't touched the story. I can't even tell you the last bit of story that I actually touched. I haven't really visited my camp either. I'm sure they're doing well. Maybe they've forgotten about me. Maybe I'm dead to them. But I've just been continually exploring the map, visiting people and unlocking like landmarks and everything. I have also the best looking guy. I'm just going to say it. I am the best looking guy ever. And I was just mentioning I've not had a single bounty on my head.
Not one.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. I have killed people, but I haven't had a single bounty on my head. So I was just saying to Sam, I must be the hitman of the Wild West.
I think I collectively owe about $400 in bounties across the counties now. Like I haven't paid one in so long.
Yeah,
but it's sort of, you can just roll into towns unless you're causing ruckus. You can sort of still do everything, bar get the stagecoach.
It's amazing. Yeah, you can have the bounties and it just prevents you from just doing that. But like literally, no one in town bothers you.
No,
where I've been at least, no one bothers you. Like after the big shootout in Strawberry, I think like straight away that's $200. And then you can just go back to Strawberry. And you've just massacred a lot of people there, including their sheriffs. Yeah, it's a wonderful game.
Yeah, it's a great
so
game.
Good. It's so good.
I don't know what to do once I, have made Arthur the best looking guy in the West.
Just wait a couple of weeks, because online multiplayer, they haven't given us the exact date, but they said end of November. Online
Hurry
multiplayer
up.
drops.
It's coming.
I need to be another good-looking Wild West member.
I can't wait. I just want to buy like a saloon and have my whores in there, my little sort of poker tournaments, a little bar, and just sort of run my little business and occasionally shoot people and just drink the nights away.
I wonder if I can be just a simple farmer. That'd be nice.
If you do, I'll buy your produce at a respectable rate.
I will give you one of my daughters to be a whore. It'd be great.
Sounds good.
A fine business.
Oh my god.
Bartering in the West. What are you going to do in Online Dream? Are you just going to follow your arc at the moment and just keep stabbing people?
I look, to be honest with you, I have no idea. I'm just gonna enjoy it. I know that for sure. Like this world is just so much fun to play. Like you think about how much time you spend in the game just on horseback going from A to B. It's got to be like 70% of the game, and I don't have a problem with it. It's actually just fun rolling across the landscape, going from beating up this guy, this debtor who owes us money, to killing this cougar, to, I don't know, just killing some road agents, taking out Colm's boys.
Looking for dinosaur bones.
Bones, hitting up
Posing for the photographer guy, the animal photographer.
Yeah, that's right. Did you get the guy with the treasure map?
Yes, yeah, I did that. That took me a long ass time.
I haven't done that yet. Is that is it good?
You get 2 gold bars. You get $1,000.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
but
a
it's 3
lot
maps.
of nice looking clothes.
I
Nice.
got
three maps worth. It took a while. Well, it took Rach a while, and then when I was doing it, she already did it. So she just said, "Yeah, go there, go there, go there." So it took me not much time, but it took her probably an hour and a half to do these 3 maps.
I would never figure it out. I looked at that one map, and it's not a map. It's just a couple of drawings. And I just thought, no, I won't do this right now.
I got swindled.
I robbed a bank the other day, though. And I wasn't sure if this is a main story mission or a side mission, but I robbed this bank, and I must have walked out with like $20,000, and I kept about 3,000 of it.
That's where you go back to Valentine with the lady and Charlie, I think, comes with you, or Bill, one of the two.
Pearson, isn't it? No,
Yeah,
not Pearson.
it was sick though, because you're in there, because you can either choose to just dynamite open the safe,
Yeah.
but I cracked all of them.
Same.
I sat there and safe cracked all.
It wasn't hard at all. Like
No.
I think the dynamite, you must lose money in the dynamite, like because you blow are you blowing them up, or are you just blowing them out of the walls and dragging them off?
You blow them up, because I came across like a carriage out in the open, and they sort of crashed and their wheel fell off, and they had like a little bank safe in the back, and it fell off the back of it. I shot the 2 dudes, and then I threw dynamite at the safe, and it blew the door off it.
Really? Okay, because I found
Yeah.
the same guys, and I couldn't interact with the safe at all. And I thought that because I'd killed these guys, that I'd missed out on like some kind of event that needs to happen in game, so that I can like get into the safe. I'm never gonna find that. That safe's gone.
Yeah.
What a shame.
It only had $50 in it anyway.
It is
for me.
It is not hard to crack those safes. There's no element of skill at all. It's literally just rotate this way, rotate that way.
It was a simpler time in the West.
I was doing this shit like if I was alive back then, man, I'd be a millionaire. I'd just be doing this all day, every day. Cracking saves and shit. Anyway.
But it's still so good. Like listeners, if you can't sort of get it from our messages so far, and you don't have Red Dead Redemption 2, go get a copy. It is so good. It's my favorite game I've played so far this year as a whole. I think it sort of jumped above things like God of War, Detroit, Spider-Man. It's so good.
Yeah, if we can't sell you, apparently a South Park episode recently aired can probably give you a good idea as well.
Oh damn, I haven't seen that. I have to check.
I've only seen one little segment, and it's so true. They talk about the snow stage at the start. and it's
Is this when the detective comes home? Yes.
Yeah, and he gets his story saved over. He's like, "That's it. I'm gonna start again." She's
Yeah.
like, "No, you're not gonna do the snow again."
Yeah. Yeah.
I empathize.
All right.
All right. One quick thing I wanted to mention too, we watched last night, was Mandy. Do you guys know this movie or know of Mandy?
Obviously, it being Nicolas Cage, I've been made well aware of it. I've been following it. It looks great. I have not sat and watched it yet because I promised I'd watch it with someone. So
It's bonkers. It really is bonkers. It's like, so it's present day Nick Cage playing a character set in 1983. So it's got this real 80s retro vibe, the way it's shot, the soundtrack. They even sort of add grain to the shot sometimes, and sort of some old weathered effects to the shot. And like sort of loose spoilers, the rough story is you're a simple woodsman. You're living out in sort of this little area in the middle of nowhere with your partner, and you cut trees down as a living. A sort of group of sort of religious cultists come upon your partner, take her away, kill her, and then Nicolas Cage just goes crazy Nicolas Cage and seeks vengeance and revenge upon the cultists and their demon biker associates. And it's just
Sold.
fucking insanity.
How does that not sell you?
Yeah, like it's just crazy Nick Cage mixed with Grindhouse, mixed with crazy neon lighting effects. Like there's a few sort of drug segments, and even when he's having dreams, it cuts to like, the heavy metal cartoon from the 80s? It cuts to like scenes like of that. And it's just so bonkers, and some good gore and a lot of blood and some creative ways to kill people. It's 2 hours. It's a bit of a slow burn.
Is it?
It takes a while to kick into revenge mode, but when it does, Nick Cage does this scene where he goes full crazy and he's sort of doing the full grieving of the loss of Mandy, and he's in the bathroom like yelling and drinking like straight vodka and yelling in his undies and yelling some more, and it's like, yeah, this is what we came to see.
Yeah, some would say it's acting. Others would say it's just Nicolas Cage.
He's caging it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, going full Cage.
Yeah, and I had to double take in it because there's a scene and there's like this big pyramid-esque mausoleum like he actually owns in real life, and I wonder if it was just his one and he was sort of using it for tax purposes, because obviously we know he's in some trouble there. But check it out, it's just a 2-hour roller coaster of insanity. It's trip. It is such a trip.
Cool.
Just waiting for that follow-up.
Okay, quick bit of housekeeping. YouTube.com/We Are 8Bit. We have all the winners up from our Best of Packs /8-Bit Approved Awards. So that's showcasing AAAs from Metro, from Resident Evil 2, from Kingdom Hearts 3, to indies like Speaking Simulator, to Lethal Lawns, to Boomerang Fu, as well as some hardware love to the NVIDIA GPU, the RTX 2080 Ti. So check all that out. Cut together by our boy Sam Kingma, and it's came out really well. And we've actually mailed out all the successful winners their respective trophies, and that on Friday. So they should be rocking up at their outlets this coming week.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Ton of video content. And there's a few half-informs. Dash has chucked a couple up there, playing the My Hero Academia gaming offshoot, as well as Tetris Effect.
That has been going off. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been talking about that game.
Yeah, I bought it yesterday, and I want to try and play it, maybe do a little bit of a playthrough in PSVR, because it looks ridiculous in VR. So we'll see how we go this week. But anyway, on to some news.
This week's news headlines.
So the first thing we will go through is the XO2018 event that Xbox/Microsoft held in Mexico City, which literally finished airing about 5 minutes before we started recording. So we haven't been able to sort of get all these notes and things in the smoothest order, but we're sort of just grabbing the recap from the Xbox website itself, and we'll sort of go through some of the hit points in the big news. One of the first things that comes to mind for me is Obsidian Entertainment and In Exile Entertainment join Microsoft Studios as two new exclusive studios under the Microsoft banner. Mm-hmm. Obsidian is definitely the big get out of those two.
Yeah,
like they've done everything from KOTOR 2 to Fallout New Vegas, South Park: The Stick of Truth, and they've even did the Pillars of Eternity franchise, which obviously they crowdfunded a few years back. What do you guys think of this? I know a little about In Exile, but Obsidian are a pretty sort of big deal as far as studios go.
Yeah, I'm the same with In Exile. Not big on like Bard's Tale or Wasteland, I think was the other one. Good. Either way, whenever they pick up these companies, that always makes me feel better about the workers there. Making sure that they have some kind of safety net, really. So anytime a big company takes you on board, you kind of hope that you have a little bit more comfort and you can sleep at night. But yeah, Obsidian's got a bunch of games in their catalog, which makes me excited. Hopefully they can start working on those there's kind of this fantasy adventures that they kind of worked with, so hopefully get to see some more of that.
Yeah, I'm with you. What about you, Dream?
Yeah, I mean, Obsidian's a studio that's renowned for RPG titles for 15, 20 years. I think this is obviously great. It's nothing to like jump out of your seat at. They would have continued to make games anyway, just now that they're with Microsoft and developing for them exclusively. Or maybe not necessarily exclusively, but definitely giving Microsoft all the favor. It just means that some more great titles are going to come to Xbox eventually and to PC. So, cool. I'm a fan of some of their titles. Like, yeah, KOTOR 2's one of my favorite RPGs. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't really have much more to say about it, I guess. It's not really like a huge announcement to me. It's not something that you should really... It's not like terribly exciting for me, but I've never really been an Xbox fanboy in the first place, I guess.
It's good bait, though. Like, it's a good way to kind of say, like, hey, guys, we've taken on this studio. So then, fanboys can kind of start speculating what we could anticipate seeing in the future, whether it's, I doubt it's probably Fallout content, but, I don't know, Neverwinter.
The only thing that really changes for them is that they have access to Microsoft IP. Like, that's kind of it. And they might work
Get them to make a Fable game.
Well, yeah, maybe. That might be interesting. That would be interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Again, I'm indifferent on this one.
Well, that brings Microsoft Studios now with 13 exclusive studios under that umbrella. So that's a pretty hefty jump. Like, in the last 12 months, they've brought on that's 8 studios now, I think it is, brings the total since E3. So they're definitely moving and shaking.
Yeah, they're responsive. They're responsive to criticism, aren't they? Which is good. That's kind of what you want. You don't want someone to stubbornly ignore and continue down the path of not enough games and poor hardware performance, and they've done neither of that. Now they've just got a ton of games on the Xbox. The back catalogue continues to grow. Phil Spencer was saying this in the conference today. It's like, this was a problem, so we fixed it. Now this was a problem, and now we've got the best hardware ever. It's like, it's kind of true. They're actually remarkable as a company at responding to criticism.
I'm very proud of them. As I'm a bit more of a Xbox fanboy as opposed to PlayStation, for anyone that's listened to this podcast at least once would probably know pretty well. So the next bit of news that came through XO2018, Crackdown 3, obviously confirmed via the Xbox Game Pass, will launch on February 15th. I still find it hard to get excited about this game, and probably evidenced by Ali's chuckling on the other side of the microphone. She's a bit the same.
It's. I feel bad. I feel bad for this Crackdown game, only because of all the crap it's kind of gone through, and now they're still trying to use it as some kind of
selling
exclusive, point kind of thing. It's like, guys, but Terry Crews.
That's that, and they're trying to get some more hype. Like, they announced the Wrecking Zone game mode, which is like a 5v5, who can destroy the most things within the environment to take down your enemies wins type of situation, which looks fun, but I don't see any longevity in this game.
No.
You get in, you smash a heap of shit up, and then that's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any longevity as far as it actually being bought. So
yeah, well, to try and get some more hype, they're offering the original Crackdown free of charge from now until November 30th. Available with Xbox One X enhancements. So anyone that owns an Xbox, head on over to the Microsoft Store and get yourself a copy for free. Maybe it leads to sort of scratching that itch and getting your hype for Crackdown 3 come Feb 15, sorry. I don't know.
Scratching that itch, it's more like giving yourself some kind of plague so you can get the itch.
You're sort of picking a boil or something like that.
Yeah, or hanging out with kids with measles and chickenpox and you haven't had it yet.
Yeah, Crackdown 3, the video game virus equivalent to measles. There we go.
It's on the back of the box.
Yeah. The next tagline we got in here: the hits keep coming on. The hits keep on coming with Xbox Game Pass.
It's
Fuck
amazing.
my life. So they've obviously announced another 16 games throughout the presentation today. The sort of biggest ones, I guess, or the ones worth talking about, PUBG is available on Games Pass, included in that bundle as of November 12. So that's from tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, our time for us Aussies. On top of that, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is coming in December to Game Pass, which is great. That Ori and the Blind Forest is on there. And then they also announced a few others that are coming this holiday called Aftercharge. Supermarket Shriek. Did you see this one where you're racing around in a shopping cart with the goat?
No.
I thought of Ali straight away.
Yeah, it's probably something I'd play. It's fair.
Yeah, outside of that, there was also Mutant Year Zero, Pathologic 2, The Good Life, Void Bastards, and Secret Neighbor.
Secret Neighbor. Is that?
Yeah, so a lot of little indie gems creeping their way onto Game Pass between now and Christmas. So that's good. The service keeps on providing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's a really, it stood out to me today more than it has in the past. And it is actually a fantastic service. A subscription service that makes so many games accessible. I thought of content creators more than anyone here. Because it's got to be the most cost-effective, affordable way to play multiple games that are fantastic titles that are different and interesting and across multiple genres. Short of actually paying for all these games individually, like you don't have to do that shit. You just pay X a month. You have access to all of them. Ori and the Blind Forest, and what's the name of the new Ori game?
Will of the Wisps.
Will of the Wisps, that's it. Both being on it, that's fantastic. But there are so many games like that. I remember when Sea of Thieves dropped and was also live on day one there on the Game Pass. It doesn't make a lot of. It's not like if you think of movies in Netflix, you don't see movies in the cinema and on Netflix at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Microsoft are doing something really cool here.
Every exclusive, as you touched on with those titles, but then things like new Forza Horizon 4 dropped on there on launch. Crackdown 3 will be on there.
It could be amazing. We're all laughing, but it could be.
It could be. And I hope it is. I hope it absolutely proves
it could be the greatest game ever made.
Could be.
I don't know if I'll, sort of plant my flag on that.
Everyone's talking about Red Dead now. Red Dead today, Crackdown tomorrow, son. Trust me.
Yeah, fingers crossed Sumo Digital and Elbow Rocket come through with something special with Crackdown 3.
Terry Crews doesn't attach his name to just anything.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I
but sort of
really look into my Game Pass. This is like one of those things where I signed up for it and haven't touched it since. It got me Sea of Thieves, and that's about it.
100 plus titles on there, and new titles added every month. And for those that don't have it, right now, up until January 3, you can sign up for Xbox Game Pass and receive your first full month for just $1. 100 games for a month for $1. Practically making money.
I thought it was interesting, Phil talking about Game Pass, saying that they've noticed a trend where people who have subscribed to Game Pass are typically or more likely to buy more games. I thought that was interesting. Did you catch that? Right at the start of the conference?
I guess Game Pass could almost be seen as like in a way like this generation's video shop, where maybe like people see them as like they're trialing them, and then if they like it, they buy the game and cancel it, because it's sort of a $10 a month thereabouts, depending on the region you're in.
Yeah.
Membership, so you can try these new games and then jump off, buy the game in full, jump off.
Is that really how much the membership is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I need
it's
to go.
It's the
look at
gateway
my
drug
funds.
of video games. It's like the marijuana. You try that, then you get onto the hard stuff. Crack.
I love that
down.
we've used measles and marijuana when describing Xbox-based content. Hell of a drug.
Shoe fits. Anyway.
This one's sort of less relevant for us here in the AU. It's typically a US-based situation, but the Xbox are delivering its biggest Black Friday deals ever. So tons of discounts on consoles, tons of discounts on gaming. A lot of games are like 35% off minimum they were showing, and a lot of them are sort of pretty recent titles, so that's pretty good. But just jump on the Xbox website and look for the full Black Friday post on that for more details. They sort of announced a heap of other blockbuster games, which are, as they say, best to play on Xbox One because they're 1X enhanced and they get all that 4K, they get the audio enhancements, they get the bump in the HDR and everything else. So tackle a heap of them. A trip to Fortune Island is coming in Forza Horizon 4. So that's the largest sort of chunk of DLC and drivable area that they've released in the Forza franchise's history. So that's going to take you around the northern reaches of the British Isles, where you will encounter extreme conditions such as fierce lightning storms, perilous cliffside dirt roads, and sweeping paved mountain switchbacks under the mystical glow of the Aurora Borealis in search of hidden treasure.
It looks gorgeous, by the way.
It really does. It's one of the best looking console games out there by a long stretch. By maybe a quarter mile, as they say in the racing worlds. Minecraft Marketplace gets bigger and better. So Helen Chiang, head of Minecraft, dropped in and talked about Minecraft. I think I've broken alley again.
I just want you to regale us with a story from your days as Drift King in the mountains of...
In the snowy mountains, my friend.
The mountains of Japan or wherever the hell it is.
In my EL Ford Falcon, Ghost White, which I rode off by driving down a hill through a fence into a tree. So that's a story for another day, my friends. But back on the track of Minecraft, they surpassed 91 million monthly players in the Minecraft universe, and they sort of hit more so on the Minecraft Marketplace, where they have partnered with Pixel Heads, which are one of the most predominant sort of mod factions out there. And they're doing a little bit of that. They've got 77 partners now, which has driven to 13 million purchases for their creation since it launched in June. So that's a lot of cash that this game is generating. And then they also announced that there's going to be a new expansion that comes out next month called Cats and Pandas.
Can I just say that little segment was just not necessary?
It went for so long.
I sat there and I was just like, okay, cool, you added Cats and Pandas. Why is this like such a long drawn out thing? And I'm assuming they just needed filler. They needed to change the sets around. They needed to go outside, set up the cameras. So
it was cute.
But by golly, I need to go to the bathroom.
It was cutesy, you know. It's what they go for with Minecraft. I thought what was the stuff where it's like you're rolling around in a Lamborghini now and you're just blinged out? I thought that was all pretty cool.
Yeah, that gangster expansion or whatever they were calling it.
Yeah, like my finger has not been on the Minecraft pulse for about a year, maybe longer. Like I thought it was kind of slowing down.
No.
This game will be around forever.
Yeah.
And the fact it's playable on everything just ensures that it will be around forever.
Exactly.
A game that will hopefully be around for a long time, Sea of Thieves, announced its 5th free content update, which is called The Arena, releasing in early 2019. So it's an all-new competitive game mode that allows players to test their pirating skills in fast-paced matches against rival crews. It looked interesting. Sort of similar to what Dream said, my finger's sort of off the pulse of Sea of Thieves because a lot of their content that they've released, which is great that it's free, almost has just been recycled. Like it just feels like you're doing the same bit of content over and over with just a new bit of skin.
Yeah. But in saying that, you know what? I thought about it and it's been a while since I've played Sea of Thieves. Seeing all this stuff just kind of made me sit there and go, I kind of want to play Sea of Thieves again. Just dip my toe back in there.
Yeah, well, they the last expansion they dropped a couple of weeks back was the one that had sort of the island with the living volcano on it, which was pretty cool. So that might be worth checking out. State of Decay 2, launching the Z Hunter pack on November 16th, which adds powerful and silent crossbow, as well as a heap of melee weapons, consumables, and other bits of componentry to the game. It's a game that I had full intention to play when it came out, and it's actually free in the Xbox Game Pass. I've downloaded it, but I've literally not booted it up once yet. But But the intention's there. The intention's there. And
intention.
it says they've got a community of about 4 million players on this game across Xbox and PC. So there's people playing, just not us.
No.
There's no intention on my part to touch another zombie game ever. Like, I'm trying to think. What's coming out? What's coming up zombie-wise?
Well, they just had Overkill's The Walking Dead just released on Steam this week, and it's coming to console soon.
Right.
There'll be The Last of Us 2. There's Days Gone. There's
The Last of Us 2. I'll take it back. I retract. I'll play The Last of Us 2.
Did you finish one?
No. But out of spite, I will. One day.
Okay.
You'll show him.
You show that great game.
Fucking show you guys. There's another one, though. There's another one coming out in a year. No.
Yeah, Days Gone.
Days Gone. That's
which
it.
is the PS4
Sorry.
exclusive.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's, the world, even though we feel that there's zombie fatigue, they just keep on coming. So we'll see what happens next. But yeah, Ali, I heard, I looked at trying to get a copy of that Overkill's The Walking Dead, but I've heard it sucks ass.
I endured a stream of someone playing it, and I've never ever watched a gameplay so bad where I just said, I can't keep watching this. This is terrible. This game is just, it is like State of Decay or Dying Light or whatever. It's but not great. There was nothing interesting or new about it that would make me want to play it. No. Pass
It just
on that
looks
one.
like Left 4 Dead, just with a Walking Dead flavor sprinkled on top.
Dead
And
Rising,
done poorly.
but not as fun.
Yeah, which is a shame. Actually, no, it's not, because zombie fatigue. Yeah, it serves you right, Overkill. Make something else.
Take that.
Some bitch.
There was a heap of sort of fluff and media spin on games coming out. Obviously, they play better on the Xbox One X is sort of the main message they're beating home. So we won't talk about Battlefield and things like that. They showed a couple more fighters that are joining the Jump Force roster, which just looks like a bonkers fighting game in its own right. They're fighting out the front of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris from the footage that they showed.
Yeah.
And it just looked insane. There was some iteration of Vegeta, and then there was Golden Frieza going to town in Paris there around that insane roundabout. So
It looks great.
it looks good, but it just looks so fast. It looks like a game that my brain and sort of muscle memory would not be able to keep up with.
That's what I need, though. I love these games that just get straight to the point.
Yeah,
And anything to say? 'Cause
Yeah,
you're
Sam's
sort of
got
the
nothing to
fighting
say, which is
aficionado here.
interesting.
No, it's like an arena fighter. I'm trying to think now. I think it might be. It's got to be the fourth out of Bandai Namco in the last 3 years, 2 years even. They've had Final Fantasy Dissidia, they've had My Hero Academia, they've had Naruto, and now they're bringing out this. And they all play very similarly. Dissidia a bit to the side, but the anime fighters play so similarly. They're fun. They're just fun. They're good for fans.
Yeah.
They're great games for people who just love the animes that these characters all come from. They're not overly complicated. They're not high skill level or anything like that, in spite of what other people might try and argue.
No, he
They're just
actually said on stream they all have the same control.
Well, they do, but they do. In all of these games, they do. Your range attack is this, your melee attack is this. The combos are generally the same. They do play differently, even though the combinations are the same. But whatever. That's part of the charm. That's it's good in a way because it makes it super easy and accessible to people who don't care about fighting games. They just want to play the characters that they want to play in anime games. So
That's me.
it's set, it's to the side of Dragon Ball Fighters and Soul Calibur 6 and other fighting games that are more technical. It's more for enjoyment. And it looks funny. I don't know. It'd be interesting to play, but I don't think that, you'd really get a lot of...
Why do I feel
time
like
out of
Sam's
this
like
game.
subtly like shitting on people.
What am I shitting on?
I don't know. It sounds
I'm
like
recommending
you...
this game to fans of the anime series. No, Siri, not you.
Yeah, pipe down, Siri. Something else that looked absolutely bonkers was the latest trailer for Just Cause 4. Like, holy shit. Like,
This game makes...
old Rico Rodriguez is back again, doing all kinds of crazy things with his little claw grappling hook arm attachment. And now he's even battling freaking tornadoes.
It makes no
so
sense.
Weird. Yeah.
I don't... And is it it's a man-made natural disaster? Is that what
That's
we're
what
to believe?
that's how I interpret it. Like, there was sort of the attractive antagonist with the slick black blonde hair sort of talking about sending something in. So maybe they can create their own tornadoes. And
Do you know that episode of Rick and Morty? It's one of the ones where it's like interdimensional, like cable television, and it's two brothers fighting an armada of tomato da da da, and it just keeps building, like
Adding
building
on,
and
yeah.
building. That's kind of where Just Cause is now, where it's like one man, one tornado. Fight.
it's ridiculous. All that's missing is sharks in this thing, and we've got the Sharknado game. Like, that is all that's missing from this. Like, it's just over-the-top insanity, crazy violence, crazy ways to kill people.
They should have a Sharknado DLC.
They should.
Oh, yeah.
They should.
Yeah. It lends
That's a
itself
great
to
idea.
it perfectly.
Yeah. But they have that gun, like that metal gun where you just pick things up and move them around and stuff and shoot them and pull them down.
Yeah.
Like a gravity gun.
Yeah, you've got a whole host. And even, like, the guns, like, the weaponry, every gun's got a primary and secondary mode. So you had, like, a sniper rifle that also doubled as a grenade launcher or something. I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
It's ludicrous.
Crazy.
Yeah, and another game that got a little bit more attention, Kingdom Hearts 3, where they showcased Winnie the Pooh. All three of us, I think, are sort of sitting on a similar fence with this, where I've had no experience with Kingdom Hearts. Neither of you, Dream, and Ali, you haven't played it either?
Well, I've played like the tiniest segment of the first one. Yeah, no, every time we see these Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, it's just so obvious that the audio is out. It is completely off. And I think it just absolutely detaches you from whatever they're trying to sell you. You're hearing friggin' lines from this bloody game on top of, or no, actually I'd say underneath. It sounds like it's underneath the music so that's playing, but there's no sound effects. There's no like,
it's just audio
it's
dialogue.
Audio, just music and friggin' catchphrases. It's weird. It doesn't, but don't say it to a Kingdom Hearts fan. For the love of God, they will chew you up.
They'll keyblade you to death. It's that it's that the trailers that they have, there's no like, it's not like the stories being displayed. It's the characters are being displayed. So it's like, and we've got this Disney character and this Disney character and this person and that person. And I have played. I've played a few hours of the first Kingdom Hearts, and what I remember from that game is that you're in these sort of siloed stories where you'll go and be in this place and this one character has their own story, and then you move on to the next one and you participate in all of these mini stories. And you can't make and there's like a narrative somewhere around darkness or something. But like it just, that's what this trailer is. This trailer is a bunch of other people's stories that just don't add up, don't connect. There's no connective tissue between any of it. It's hard to follow. It looks cool.
It's tough. It's really tough. Like, we sort of talked about it offline. Like, we're all sort of generally pretty solid fans of the Disney universe and the respective films and things that they've put together. But you weave it all together into this game, and you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I need to sit down. My cousin is a Kingdom Hearts tragic. He's even got a Kingdom Hearts tattoo. His first ever tattoo was a Kingdom Hearts logo or something on his arm.
Is it the
I need
heart?
to sit down.
Yeah,
I need to sit down and say, why did you do this? Explain to me the meat and potatoes of Kingdom Hearts. Because I don't
explain the
understand.
hearts. Why are they in the kingdoms? Like, what's going on?
And why is Woody hanging out with this random like Final Fantasy character or whatever the hell?
I didn't recognize any of the Final Fantasy characters in the trailer today.
Yeah, I don't even
I didn't
know.
recognize
I
any.
don't
really
know,
paying
man.
attention.
I'm too old for this nonsense.
Yeah. But off the
I
back of
just
that,
like that fucking Winnie the Pooh got violated. That's all I care about.
he said he'd be always in his heart or something. He ET'd him.
Yeah, and the guy like bent down and he like poked him and he touched him. And I'm like,
ET'd him.
excuse me.
So, off the back of that, though, they talked about how Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, 10-2, and 12 will be available on Xbox in 2019, along with World of Final Fantasy Maxima, I think it's called, which is now available and now out. So that was cool.
It's crazy
No?
that
Okay.
No, like
I'm the only Final
I'm-
Fantasy person
I'm with
here
you.
right now.
Like
Yeah.
I've experienced a little bit of Final Fantasy, but it's like my main things I know about is it has been a Sony franchise
Yeah.
for many, 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 many years, and to see it start to shift across, and the Xbox community get access to these games, I think that's probably a pretty big coup.
Oh, sounds of desperation.
Yeah. How much? I think it's more. Well, all right. These games were ported to Steam years ago. So that's the first thing. And the second is how much money are they making out of Final Fantasy VII now versus how much money could they make by making it accessible on Xbox? Like, I don't think Sony's losing out all that much by this.
No.
It's been, fucking 25 years longer. 20 years. But the Final Fantasy VII remake's on its way, so I think this is a great way for them to build the hype in the lead up to Disc 1 being released.
Is it really on its way? Like, we got that trailer, 2 years ago, and then just nothing.
It's coming. It's somewhere in the winds. I don't know. Their track record, it could be 8 years away. I don't know. But it's in the works, and eventually it will be released on all platforms. So it makes sense to have more of a flag planted in the Microsoft land, prior to that. And the last few like 15 was on Xbox, 13 onwards has been on Xbox. They're an Xbox group now. They're an equal console opportunity game dev now.
Yes.
And publisher.
Yes. So shifting from software to hardware for a minute, they've confirmed that the mouse and keyboard input support will arrive on the Xbox One this week. They sort of outlined a few games, and this was obviously championed by Fortnite having keyboard and mouse support. So, you wait till the PC players jump onto Xbox or whatever and grab the keyboard and mouse out and just start schooling kids with the keyboard and mouse instead of the controller input. So...
They matchmake only keyboard to keyboard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I must have missed that part.
That's their they had a really fancy term for it. The Fortnite guy announced it that you would only be matched against people who are also using the same peripherals as you to keep it fair, which is fair, I think.
Fair.
Wonder if there's a way to sort of get around that.
Well, if there
They're
is
using a controller on PC.
Yeah, I don't know. If there is, power to you. You have my respect.
Yeah.
From one outlaw to
and
another.
on the back of that sort of that keyboard mouse support, they've confirmed that Razer will be the exclusive partner to ship a designed for Xbox mouse and keyboard, which will be formally introduced at CES in January. So it's a pretty big get going, I guess, to the top of the food chain as far as peripherals to start working on these third-party based products to allow that blurring of console and PC gaming. So
Poor Mad
I thought that
Cats.
was pretty cool. Yeah. Mad Cats. Rest in peace. They also mentioned that the Xbox Adaptive Controller has launched worldwide now. So it's hitting 17 new markets in 2019, which is great because it opens up gaming to the masses and to everybody that wants to game can now technically game barring limitations that they might have experienced in years past. So I think it's great that Microsoft and Xbox are doing things like this. It might not it's not about volume and selling in this regard. I think it is more so sort of focused at gaming. Like the R&D to put this type of thing together would not have been cheap. So
No.
I think I'd say they're probably taking a hit to bring this out to make gaming more accessible, which is fantastic.
Yeah. It's really good that they actually put a focus on this. And just actually seeing videos of seeing people using the devices, making it more accessible is just great. This makes you feel really good.
Yeah, and on the back of that, they've also announced the hashtag Give with Xbox campaign, which is a holiday time campaign beginning today and ending December 9th, where Xbox will donate $5 of Xbox products sold up to $1 million for every photo shared on social media about what gaming together means using the hashtag Give with Xbox. So that's a good little sort of other charity drive that Xbox are doing there. So up to $1 million USD, and that'll be going to Child's Play, Gamers Outreach, Special Effect, and Operation Supply Drop, which is another good little initiative they're pushing. So kudos to Xbox on both those fronts. So that was XO18. Shifting into a couple of last bits of news as we start to shift gears to pivot out of this episode. So Red Dead Redemption 2, the game universally loved by everybody, or just about everybody, has shipments of 17 million units. Oof. So this isn't sort of physical sales. This is sort of shipped units into stores. And what this entails is actually in those 17 million units that were shipped in 8 days are more than the original Red Dead Redemption managed to ship in 8 years. So it's ridiculous. It really is. And this game, there'll be another massive spike of this game when the online componentry comes out, I think, because you'll see a lot of those GTA 5 guys and gals jump across onto that online component and start living their best Wild West lives they can out there. So,
yeah.
17 million units in 8 days.
I mean, people aren't surprised, really. Like, I'm glad. Like, everyone suspected this was going to be the it game that everyone was going to be playing, and it turned out to be the it game that everyone is playing. I'm just going to put it out there. Definitely didn't deserve 10 out of 10, but yeah, it's been a great game.
If you played the story, you might feel a little more inclined.
I agree with Ali. I
definitely don't think it was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't think the game has any problems, but I don't necessarily think that it is... I think the game does some things weirdly. There are definitely moments where I'm like a bit stumped. But I think it's a fantastic game. I think, like, I agree with you, Brendan. It's by far the best game I've played this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is like, this game is flawless.
What is a 10 though?
Like,
this goes back to the whole argument of like, what's the whole point of a numbers system? It's so arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. But 17 million people, or 17 million units, which will obviously translate to sales, is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Let's see how Crackdown does in February 15th.
I'm expecting big numbers Crackdown. Big numbers. 17.1 million.
Watch. It's gonna release
Game of the generation.
It'll just be amazing, and everyone will be like, "Hey, Hunger Gamers, remember when you fucking?"
Yeah. Remember when we called it that one time?
And the
Yep.
The last bit of gaming news: Prima Games is shutting down, and this comes via way of Brendan Sinclair at GamesIndustry.biz. Yet another long-running staple of print gaming media is being pulled. EGM Now is reporting today that strategy guide imprint Prima Games will halt operations next spring. So I guess this sort of harkens back to yesteryear where people were buying physical print guides and strats for those games that were coming out. You used to see them, you go into an EB Games, and on that front desk as you sort of go in to check out, you see the strategy guide there for whatever game it might be, and they're always overpriced for one, but occasionally you'd see people grab them and pick them up and take them home. But with the internet these days, like GameFAQs is sort of the kings of this realm, really. You jump on there and there's just digital guides for every game you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But it's a shame. I love physical print media still. I love having sort of that tactile feel of something in my hands. But as far as convenience goes, it's better to just jump online.
I used to have a few. So I bought a few for Final Fantasy games. Like Final Fantasy 10, 10-2.
Yeah.
12 even I might have had. They were like these beautiful hardcover, like solid white books. They
always
had all
looked
the details
good.
on them. Yeah.
They always like made an effort.
Yeah, but yeah, sign of the times. Totally irrelevant now. Like you say, Brendan. Like, GameFAQs has been around for more than, 15 years now. Probably, yeah, it would be. Because it was around when I was still playing Final Fantasy games for the first time. And I would just go there. I would just go there instead of spending $40-$50 on these beautiful books. Yeah, I don't know, bit of a shame. But
Yeah.
shrug.
I'm surprised that these were still like kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
100%. So that's the news this week. We're going to wrap with our question of the week. And this one we put to our listeners as, what is the best video game film of all time and why? So maybe we'll read some listener responses first before we throw our own 2 cents at this topic. So Lauren from Point and Click says, stay alive, fight me IRL. Cruzy from It Is What It Is, a New Game Bro says, it ain't Alone in the Dark, that's for sure.
wow.
Buddy from Dash Culture, love me some hammy Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but Resident Evil 1 is probably the one I think of.
Yeah.
Jono from Putting In Work, the Nathan Fillion Uncharted movie, which was sort of an unofficial short film that they released earlier this year. Snoogs also says he has to agree with Jono. And if not, Mario Bros. Holds a place in memory. Won't watch it now to ruin that memory, though. Calgar from The Inconsolables also references the Street Fighter movie. Clayton says the animated Resident Evil movies aren't too bad. He doesn't also mind Silent Hill as well, which I'm sort of on that camp. Dash, Mortal Kombat. Dane Peavy also giving that Mortal Kombat love. Random Sidekick sort of goes a little off the track and says Crank 2. So the entire movie plays at the speed of a video game, has video game logic, and uses video game high points. So there hasn't been a Crank game of my knowledge, but I guess it sort of ties in that regard.
It's fair. Yeah. It's,
Yeah,
good.
it's
It's
fair.
all good argument. All good
We'll
arguments.
allow it. Player2.net.au comes across and says, The Last Starfighter, hands down, there is no question. Forzy on the Twitters says Street Fighter Assassin's Fist tells a good origin story of Ryon Ken as well as Goki/Akuma. IDN7 gives some of that Mario Brothers love as well, saying Dennis Hopper, so good. And the last little sort of throwaway is Garbs_7 on the Twitters, Liam Garbin, says, I'm already angry about the Mortal Kombat slander I'm going to hear. So, Salim the Dream, what is your best video game film and why?
Best.
That could be interpreted as best worst or best.
I'll give you my
Just your
favorite, which is the Final Fantasy Spirits Within animated film from 2000 and something. Only because I think that it's not awful. It's not great, but at the time, like that was some of the best CG in the world. I think it might, like, for me, I remember seeing it. It was the most realistic an animation's ever looked. I thought it was beautiful. The story's kind of cool. It's a bit of an acquired taste as far as films go, but yeah.
Did it?
Just remember it being
Alec
really
Baldwin
slow.
voice someone in it?
Sorry,
Did Alec Baldwin voice someone in it?
Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin's in it. Steve Buscemi's in it. Perry, Roz, what's her name? Roz from Frasier is a voice in it. Yeah.
Brendan, who's that person that's
Donald
from Frasier?
Sutherland's in it.
Some talentless hack.
Perry, what's Perry? Oh, this is gonna kill me now. Yeah, so I really like this film. There are so many good ones though, like Mario. There's something. So it's a hard one to talk about.
It's pretty cringy, isn't it?
It's pretty bad. Mario. Oh my god.
What's your name? Luigi Mario.
You Luigi.
I guess on the Final Fantasy train, I really liked Advent Children.
Yeah.
The other sort of animated film they did.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. It looked gorgeous too.
Yeah.
It was done a few years after
Spirits Within. The
Spirits Within.
The action sequences in that are like phenomenal. It's just the story's a bit of a letdown, I think.
Yeah. What about you, Miss Hart? What's a couple you want to sort of give some attention to?
Look, I hate when people crap on these video game movies, the classics that we grew up with, your Super Mario, your Mortal Kombat. But my favorite and my most quotable is Street Fighter. So, Jean-Claude Van Damme playing an American.
Yeah. Same accent.
An Australian playing a Brit. And all
Good
the
old
other,
Kylie Minogue.
yeah, all the other issues and, things that are going on with that movie. I just love it. I can watch it over and over and over again. Paul, how do you say his name? Raul Julia?
Yeah. And Bison.
Yeah, that being his last movie. He died after making that movie. And it got dedicated to him as well.
He's turning in his grave going, why couldn't I be remembered as Gomez from the Addams Family instead?
Well, Dennis Hopper also didn't know what he was doing with Mario Brothers. He didn't know it was a game. So
How good is that?
I don't know what part of reading that script he was like, yes. Oh, no, actually, I think he said his children had mentioned their interest in it, so he did it for them. And then he says it's one of his most hated movies. So, and then I think he's got amnesia now or something. He's Alzheimer's, sorry. Hopefully he doesn't remember doing that movie anymore.
Yeah, there's been so many duds, like Double Dragon. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but it had old mate Robert Patrick, who played the T-1000 from Terminator 2. He was in there. Street Fighter's an absolute stinker. Mortal Kombat still probably, for its day, is definitely up there for me as one of the best. I just wish they didn't sort of PG rate it. They sort of should have went darker and did more of the gore and the fatalities and things.
Oh, definitely. But it seems like that's a running trend. It doesn't matter what the source material is. We have to PG it up so everyone can enjoy it.
I think my favorite is probably Silent Hill. As far as a game to film adaptation goes. I thought it was bang on the money tonally. It was gory as hell. Like seeing Pyramid Head literally rip the skin off a woman and throw it against the doors of this, safe zone church was insane, and sort of pivoting to that nightmare realm to the reality where you see the world around Rada Mitchell, who plays the lead character. I can't remember the character's name in the film, but seeing it sort of change in real time around her into that nightmare hellscape was really, really good. Sean Bean in there. I think it's one of the few roles where Sean Bean actually doesn't die, which is surprising.
Really?
So shout out to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he, because at the end he comes home, doesn't he? And she's gone. I'm completely butchering the end of this film, but that's probably my favorite. There's been so many duds though. Like remember the Doom? The Doom
The
game?
Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the first person shooter scene that they did as a bit of, as an homage to the actual game itself. I thought that sequence was pretty cool, but the rest of it was kind of, yeah.
Oh, we also gave like an honorable mention to the Mortal Kombat web series as well. That was,
Yes.
I think it was once displayed on Machinima.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
They did really well with that, considering they did an initial release of just a very basic trailer, and then they ended up getting funding for a web series. So definitely check that out. I can't remember what it's called though. It's like Mortal Kombat something or other. So, but you should be able to find it.
Yeah. Did you guys like? Where do you rate sort of the Resident Evil films? Like, I the first one's as close to the source material as possible, but then it's just a turd of a trip. All 6 or 7 of those movies for me. So I was sort of like, meh.
I think I like 1 and 2.
I haven't. I've definitely seen 1. I like 1. And I think I've seen 2. I don't remember the ones I've seen. I've seen more, but I don't remember which ones they are in the sequence or how many of them I've seen. But 1's good. 1's solid.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, then we've got like the Hitman film that had Timothy Oliphant playing Agent 47, which wasn't bad. I didn't mind that, and I like him as an actor. He's pretty rock solid in just about everything he plays. The Dead or Alive game turned into the film. Remember that?
I actually don't mind that film. It's cheesy as hell, but it's still still something
It had
to watch.
Holly Valance in it too, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a good name out there for films adapted from video games.
Yeah. Same as like the Max Payne film with Mark Wahlberg.
I
didn't
remember
see
liking that. I remember not hating that movie? It's got Mila Kunis in it too, right?
Yeah, Mila Kunis is sort of his partner / I think they sort of become a loose love interest by the end of it on his revenge-a-thon. But yeah, and then there was like Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. It looked good, but that had a lot of dramas attached to sort of whitewashing the cast because as it happens in Hollywood these days. Yeah, and I'm not even going to talk about the Assassin's Creed movie because that was an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know.
I just like that we can have an appreciation for the cheese factor on our classics that we grew up with. It's like you've got to appreciate for what it's worth. That once upon a time there was a time where games were once again in main media and and now we are back there again. Get ready for Fortnite the movie, guys.
Oh my god.
That's all.
Yeah, if PAX taught us anything, it'll happen.
It'll happen.
The amount of things that they try and do just bleed out of that franchise, they'll make a movie out of it somehow, starring Ninja. You wait. It'll be a biopic on Ninja and his Fortnite experience or something. Who knows? But that has been episode 128 of the Hungry Games podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe us on all those podcast platforms. Those reviews keep those emotional lights on in our hearts. Also check out designbyhumans.com/shop/we are 8bit for just about the best video game related merch in the industry. Put that on record. I will die on that hill gladly because it is fantastic kit, t-shirts, hoodies, everything else in between. Get it over there. youtube.com/we are 8bit as mentioned. Also check out the hashtag 8bit collective for 10 podcasts, 20 plus content creators churning out fantastic content on the daily. Anything you two want to say before we pack this up for another week?
Yeah, just check out on the YouTubes and watch some of our video content that's been dropping. We hope to anticipate to have more coming up.
Nothing for you, Dream?
Be kind to one another. Have a great week. And look forward to talking more Red Dead with you lovely people next weekend.
Okay, so find Miss Ali Hart at Miss Ali Hart on the socials, Salim at SalimTD, myself at Brendan 8bit, and the rest of the collective at We Are 8bit. Until next week, 8bit Nation, much love.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.